Simply Defensive brings you the industry's top practitioners, innovators, and leaders to inform, educate, and entertain. Join us as we unlock the secrets of defensive cybersecurity.
Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Simply Defensive. I'm Josh Mason, and with me is my co-host, as always, Wade Wells.
What's up?
And today we've got with us Slava Konstantinov.
I'm developing the Mac agent for ThreatLocker, and I was the one who developed it from the scratch since the POC until now, and we have a much bigger team right now, obviously.
Right.
But yeah,
So
I was the one who started that and continued to do that, architecture, security, everything like that.
You know where all the bodies are hidden then, pretty much. That's if you've been there at the very beginning. Okay, perfect.
One of the obvious questions that I think people are going to ask is, why do you need a separate Mac development?
Obviously, like every system, like Mac, Linux, or Windows, that's all different. They have different set of APIs, if you know what I mean, different set of functionality. So you can't have the same product, especially security product, on every system.
Of course. I'm trying to think of how to ask this without getting super in the weeds, because
I got one.
I've read
we're going into the weeds.
Mac internals. So like I've questions I want to ask. Wade, you ask yours.
Yeah. So I'm a defender, right? So I will admit, like, I have never seen a very good environment that is very good at defending Macs. Macs, supposedly, if you're defending both Windows and Macs, everything I've learned is Mac is significantly harder. Why?
Yeah. Especially right now, because Apple, they try to protect users. They try to protect their privacy. They try to protect their stability of the Macs. So it's hard because for the defensive side, we have less and less things that we can defend. Basically, we're in a box, and we can't go outside of the box. So
even your tools are limited in functionality. Yes. Whereas on a Windows or especially a Linux machine, you can just give the tools all sorts of power to do things.
Yeah, basically on a Windows and Linux, they have, I don't want to go into the weeds, but like it's, but still they have like kernel space and user space, right? Kernel is drivers. On the Mac, it's called kernel extensions. They need to have their separate name for it, obviously. But they basically saying like, okay, you're not supposed to go there anymore. So we can't go into kernel and protect system from inside of the kernel. We only have user space level. And Apple gives a set of events that we can receive and check. And I used to work for some companies and we do like sandboxing and stuff. And we basically, what we did, we hooked some kernel stuff to extend our functionality. Apple doesn't like it. So now we're in the box.
Okay. Interesting. So there's some downsides that are known about if you've kernel level access. Those can't happen on a Mac, right?
No, it can't. I mean, obviously right now, especially latest versions, so it can happen there. I'm sorry. So for Windows or Linux, for Windows, it's called blue screen of death. If something happens in the kernel, on Linux and Mac, it's called kernel panic. So it can happen on a Mac with a security software right now. Obviously, sometimes it happens. We've encountered that a couple of times. So yeah, we've been playing with it because when I was writing POC for ThreatLocker and stuff, so we've been playing with a lot of things. So I broke, like it's not Sequoia, not latest Mac, but it was, I guess, MacOS 12. We broke a couple of things there.
Yeah.
So we shut down the Mac a couple of times playing with it. So it's still possible, but it's harder. It's much harder. And we've been playing with some like deprecated things, basically.
Okay. That makes sense. You're trying
Interesting.
trying to get the most you can out of their squeeze, right? Because you're gonna have to go everywhere. All right.
Yeah.
It's one of those secure by design, even in security software.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, because like, for example, if our agent crashes for some reason on or any third-party software, it just crashes. It doesn't crash in Mac. So it's just gonna crash software, and macOS automatically restarts it.
Nice.
Well, that's nice of them. Yeah. As a non-Mac user, right? I don't even have an iPhone, and I still get. I actually just got made fun of literally like 20 minutes ago for not having an iPhone via text message. Get called out for my green bubble.
But we have RSA right now, or how it's called, RSA or RCA, something like that. So
RCS, is it RCS? Yeah,
RCS. I don't remember.
Mac still puts you in a bubble, right? Though, like gives me that green, and man, luckily I'm married and don't have to deal with that in the dating world. I can't believe that's a real thing. So one interesting thing, people always say like you can't get attacked, you don't get hacked if you're a Mac, right? As security practitioners, we know that that's completely false. I'm more interested, like when you see Mac malware out there, is it like far more advanced because they're having to deal with all these other like extra Apple protections, or is it just like nothing abnormal?
They have to deal with more things, obviously, because Mac is, I don't want to say more secure. I mean, they have more restrictions, obviously.
Yeah.
We can say it's more secure, right?
Okay.
Some things secured security through obscurity,
Okay.
But
it's
still secured. So obviously they need to have more like attack vectors and be more creative with this, right? But at the same time, like it's still, some things just stay the same.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If they go to the kernel level, sometimes like there's a lot of, not a lot, okay, but there's exploits they can get to the kernel level, and there's nothing we can do with that. If they go there, nothing. So like Mac is more secured, but if they go deep down, I'm sorry.
Okay. A whole different type of tactic. And then even as like a defender, right? Like I wouldn't even imagine like going into driver space on like, we're going like, if you compare that to a Windows box, right?
Yeah.
Once you get into that layer, it's going to be a lot harder to defend as well though, right?
They have more protection, especially with a M series like Apple Silicon. They have more because of ARM. Intel have the same protections, but as far as I know, it's been a long time since I worked with Intel stuff, but on the ARM they have much more protections. I don't want to go deep, but yeah, something like pointer authentication stuff. It's called back. It's still avoidable. You can still hack it, but it's much harder.
Okay. Oh, I didn't realize that was that big of a deal. That's pretty cool though. At least.
Yeah.
All I hear is like once you upgrade your chips on a Mac, like you get the new one, you can't run VMs anymore and you're screwed. That's the number one thing I hear.
You still can. I run VMs all the time because when you research some malware or you develop some security stuff, you don't want to run it all the time on your computer. Yeah. Obviously, especially malware. It's the first thing that you shouldn't do. Right. So run malware on your computer. So basically, you can still have Mac like virtualized right now. They have a couple of really new like UTM virtual machine. So you can use it now. When it just got released, like M1 Mac, it wasn't possible.
Yeah. I was doing like I was helping out with different classes, right? Especially with like Black Hills, like being a TA for them. And someone would get on and they're like, "Hey, I have a Mac. I can't, my VMware workstation isn't working." And I'm like, "Bro, you're done. Like, we can't help you at all. I'm sorry. You get to watch the video. That's about it."
Yeah, but it's getting better on the Sequoia, the latest Mac. They basically now allow people to log in iCloud. Because before Sequoia, you're not allowed to log in iCloud. I don't know why. I didn't dig deep in that direction, but I was like, why? There's some restrictions probably, but Sequoia, but only if you're running Sequoia on a virtual machine.
Ooh, and running a Sequoia virtual machine is always fun. If you've got a Windows machine, trying to run Sequoia as a VM can be a trick. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was learning how to do pen testing on Macs and iOS. So dove into a lot of what you're talking about on a attacker side. There was a job opening that I was working towards, but it's very interesting how the development of the two kernels diverged and went in like a couple different ways.
I would say completely different ways.
Yeah.
That's what that was going to be my next question is like, is there similarity between those two? Because I have never done any phone
I mean,
stuff
obviously
whatsoever,
there are some similarities, but they're still like completely different.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, cool.
It's a mindset thing.
All right.
Yeah.
It's more similar to Unix, although it went far from that. But it started like a kernel, Mac kernel. It's called Darwin. Yeah, so it started as a Unix clone like 30 something years ago, I guess. Yeah.
Slava, how did you get into researching on Macs and developing security software on Macs?
Oh, so if you remember, it used to be that thing called Hackintosh. I mean, it's still a thing.
My dad has one.
Oh, still? Cool. I haven't touched it like in 15 years or something, but yeah. Well, it was my starting point, basically. I started with a Hackintosh. It was pretty, because I was curious, what is Mac? I didn't know what's Mac. I couldn't afford Mac. And I was like, okay, I have Windows. I was fed up with Windows. Because then, I want to tell you some quick story about that. So I had a lot of neighbors, and they had always had a problem with Windows. And they asked me, oh, you're doing like computer stuff, IT guy. So can you fix my computer? And they had a lot of adware, some kind of pop-ups. They have browsers with the default different search engines, like the weird ones.
Yep. The early 2000s when you had all sorts of attachments on your Internet Explorer. Yeah.
So I was just fed up with that. I was like, I just can't do it anymore. So I wrote an app that basically removed that from the system.
Nice.
I mean, I knew the most popular one. It wasn't like security software, but I just can run it and not do it manually. So it was my journey to the security stuff. But then I installed Hackintosh. I started playing with it. Obviously, it didn't work all the time. You need to change out kernel extensions. And I had an Intel, and they just released Intel Macs after Power PCs. So I had an Intel Mac, or not Mac, Intel computer, and it was easier, than AMD.
Right.
So I installed that and I started playing with it. And I was like, why it's so easy? I have access to everything. And remember there was a Mac versus PC thing. And I remember Mac doesn't have a viruses, and Windows, they have a viruses. I don't think this is true. I mean, it's not as popular. Maybe that's why I don't have viruses. But yeah, so I started to dig deeper. And then I started just playing with some kind of pen testing stuff and just go through it. And then just found a job, started working in cybersecurity companies. And I worked in outsourced companies. So we had a lot of different clients, but we also worked in cybersecurity, doing firewalls, antiviruses, sandboxing in the kernel level back in the day. Yeah, life was harder and easier.
Yeah,
harder
and easier,
because
right?
and easier. Yeah. So
Nice.
That's how I got here to this point.
That's awesome. I think of things from a business perspective sometimes, and I think if I was a criminal in APT group, you've got just so much you can go after on the Linux and the Windows space, just from all the LAMP stacks and all of the big corporate or government networks that are running.
Yeah.
on Windows. Whereas, I don't know, when we were kids, the only people who had Macs were artists and musicians, right?
Yeah.
And developers.
Final Cut, man. I used to run Final Cut. Like I was before I got into computers, I was into movie editing and stuff like that. And a local rocket company gave us all of their Hackintosh equipment for free. Like
Nice.
Oh wow.
trucks and trucks. Yeah, like it was ridiculous. They literally threw laptops away because we had too many, and we went and dumpster dived, got them, and then sold them and got them working. But the cool part was we got them all working. We actually networked them. We're playing StarCraft, right? Because StarCraft can be installed on Macs, which is awesome. And then we plugged into the school's network, which we were told we should not have been able to, and we're able to start pivoting around their network with Macs. But the funny part is our school didn't have any security for Mac whatsoever, so they just let us go crazy on it because they didn't have the budget for it or the technical prowess back then. This is like early 2000s, like 04, 05, so a little bit later. I still have, my wife has a Mac that I use to go do Final Cut when I need to do movie editing and stuff like that. It's still,
I still use Mac. I mean, obviously I use Macs, but I still use it because for the Logic Pro, you know, for the music stuff. So yeah,
oh yeah,
I do it
Yeah.
like in spare time. Yeah, so it's awesome.
Undeniably, they figured that out, in
Yeah,
my opinion. How does that all fit into like zero trust? Like with Mac security, you all now have an agent that works well on Macs. In like the big scheme of like enterprise network needing to implement zero trust, how then does the ThreatLocker Mac agent play into that?
yeah. So what they do is they basically install our agent, and it will block. I mean, not everything. So zero trust is straightforward. We don't trust anyone. We just block. So we have a database. They have their own database of application that we allow, and that's how we incorporate that into the security. Because if you're an organization, you know what you're gonna run on your computer. You don't need to run like everything that's available on the internet. So, and when user try to run something and we don't know what's that, we just block it. Even if there's like some application that has like backdoor on exploit that some hackers use, we can block specific version of application because we block by hash of that
Sure.
application.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, so we also use, so we don't just block applications because we have ring fencing. Ring fencing is the thing that we can protect application from, so we can put application in a box. It's not a sandbox, but basically in a box. So you can, in a network, you're allowed to go here, you're allowed to have only inbound or just outbound connections, no inbound connections. We actually have a couple of things that we users didn't block inbound connections, and we incarnate. I was like, I was talking to our customer, and he was asking like, oh, there's some things going on my computer, and we checked, and there was a loud application, but an inbound connection wasn't blocked, and it was inbound connection from server. I don't remember. I guess it was some Russia or China, something like that. They were like, oh, it doesn't seem good.
I did not authorize that.
Yeah, so we just blocked it basically.
Nice.
Like we use ring fencing. So, and with ring fencing, you're only allowed to go to specific folders. You're only allowed to run some applications, especially like for terminal. For terminal, we can ring fence it and saying like you can run this or that. That's it. You're not allowed
nice.
to do this.
All
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Or some application cannot run terminal.
And then do you alert like
Oh,
if
that's
something
good.
tries to get out of the bounds? Like
So
then,
we
like,
have
maybe you need to
unified.
go investigate that. Okay.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah,
go
so
for it. Go for it.
We have unified audit, so you can
Yeah.
check whatever. We have alerts, so if something's blocked, we have notifications saying like
All
something was blocked. Yeah, we're also on a Mac that's not a thin yet, but on the Windows, we have it's called ThreatLocker Detect. So it's MDR system. So you can set up
nice.
policies and it will alert you. On a Mac, actually, that's the next thing we're working on.
Okay.
It's been in development. It's basically like pre-alpha now. So
Okay. All right.
Does the detection kind of man, I need you to save me on this one, Wade. Does the detection logic in that end up working the same no matter what your agent is? Because you're looking for IP addresses or hashes or
yeah. I
Does that
mean,
make
like
any sense?
hashes are
little
different on any
A little
system,
bit.
obviously.
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, like, would it work any differently as a detection engineer if you're getting traffic and logs, you're getting events from Mac agent? Would you need to make detections that are specific to the Mac, or is it something where you're going after an APT group, or you've identified an APT group and some of their IOCs will play all the way across?
Yeah, so for network, it's pretty much the same.
Sure.
Because obviously it's the same. But for applications, it's different. It's completely
different animal. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the hardest things is like one of the companies I worked for had all three users using daily computers in Windows, Linux, and Mac. And so I'm sitting here, I now have to become an expert in detections in all three and understand how to write logic for all three. And if like something does this, like X, Y, and Z is okay on Windows, but if you see X, Y, and Z on a Mac, like it's not okay. Like, why is that on a Mac? Or just interesting scripts, right? One time I saw Bash on a Windows and I'm like, why the heck is Bash on? I'm like freaking out. I'm like, all right, got digging into it. And then I realized it's because they had like Git installed and they're using Git Bash and it just looks like Bash. But normally I wouldn't see that on a Windows box. So
they have Linux. They have Linux something for a Linux terminal.
Subsystem for Linux, dude. That is a very tricky one. That from what I've seen, a lot of organizations, they immediately lock that down, right? Because you can do all sorts of little funky tricks in there.
Yeah.
And then it also then creates a Linux environment within your Windows. So now you have to have Linux detections for your Windows hosts, which I couldn't imagine if then like Mac, right? Like it's all three. It's rough.
Yeah.
It's not a fun time.
Then you've got your Mac.
Yeah.
Hackintosh.
Yeah.
Actually, talking about Apple and security, I just remember a recent story. It happened 15.1. So now it's .2, the recent one. I guess it's 15.01 or 15.1. I don't remember which one. I was playing with we have network control. So we're basically protect network and we deny everything that we don't know and etc. And I was playing with it. There was something, I don't remember what I was doing, but I was basically doing, and it just stopped working. So I was debugging it on my virtual machine and it just stopped working. And my virtual machine was not updated to the latest. It was 15.1, but it was not updated to 15.1. And it just didn't work. We received 0 events from the Mac. It's like there's nothing going on, but we can't block anything. We can't do anything. So I started digging this deeper and deeper, and I realized nothing. Like it's not our fault. It's macOS that doesn't work as expected. And then I was playing with some settings on the macOS, and then I disabled macOS built-in firewall, and it started working. So it was a bug in macOS.
Wow, man.
Yeah. And then I read, the Little Snitch. There's, I guess it's Little Snitch that it's Firewall for Mac. And they post an article about that, like in a couple of days or something. I don't remember, but I found the article basically saying the exactly same thing. I was like, wow.
Damn, yeah, you found it before they did. You should have posted some. Get that sweet internet cred.
Yeah, I didn't know what to say. I was like, you know what, guys, it's not our fault, but I went to our support, just saying like, if people complain about this, we should shut it. Like, just say like, disable internal firewall. They already fixed it, but it was rough from security standpoint.
Yeah, I bet. Telling people to like less secure to make it work.
My early Linux days, something's wrong. Just turn off IP tables and see if it works. Right? And it works. Okay. Or we're leaving IP tables off. We're good.
That's got to be hard then in what you all are doing. It sounds like kind of making a deny all and then allow lists. Figuring out if this isn't working, why does it not work? I've got DNS filtering on my local network. And sometimes my kids will come up to me and be like, my tablet's not working. And I have to figure out what it's reaching out to and if it's on one of the spam filters I've got. Is that something you all run into regularly? Like
with mat work, not as much. I mean, like, obviously, it happens. But if we're talking about deny everything, it's pretty hard because sometimes if you have some kind of issue. I mean, it happens usually when you develop in something. So when and you obviously block everything, you're like, obviously we have mechanisms like we can put machine in like monitor only mode, so it's not blocking everything and just checking what's going on. So we can fix that. But obviously, it's some of the things that you can just not foresee. I
understand. There was a company I was with a few years ago. They had a different zero trust tool, and I was supposed to do podcasts and webinars and stuff. And sometimes like OBS wouldn't be allowed, even though the admin went in and told it to, allow list it. Eventually he got to the point where he's like, if something doesn't work, here's the code. And just like,
dude, that's the best part about being in security, because I would have stuff like that happen with me. And I'm like, all right, I got admin. I'm just turning this off on my computer. I need to do cool things. All right.
Yeah. Sometimes you just say, turn it off and on again.
And it works. That's like 90% of everyone's job in IT is turn it off and turn it back on again. And it works.
Yeah. My kids know that. See my 9-year-old troubleshoot for my 7-year-old. She's like, did you turn it off and back on? Yeah.
You've won.
Parent win.
Yeah. And that was the one thing. So we have elevation. So basically you can allow user, if it's standard user, you can allow to elevate something without having admin credentials. Sure. So when I was, it was pretty big POC for me because first I said like, I don't think it's possible. But it's possible now. So, and I was playing with it, and we're dealing with a lot of things that basically sometimes if your machine is enrolled in MDM, so organization, and you reboot it tried to access so it has like, it's called rights and rules. It has like authorization DB, and they try to access something, and we don't know about that, and they modify it. And it just breaks. Just like we cannot like start machine. Obviously, we figured that out before we released it, but it's pretty hard from the like Apple standpoint. Like we can go in the kernel and do some shady things there. Not shady, but like
it's okay. You can say shady. We're fine with that. Sometimes we got to do that stuff to get stuff more secure.
Obviously. Yeah, sometimes you just go like and just avoid some protections to make it more protected.
Right. No, totally agree.
I know people were thinking about that for like suggestions for the next Windows kernel is to put some Mac protections in. And I think any of us who have like researched how to hack a Mac, we're like, well, that doesn't stop things. It just makes it more difficult. As I'm sure you understand. I know Jerry and I are going to Zero Trust World next month, and it's going to be like in the past once this episode comes out. But are you going to be there?
Yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm going to have some kind of small presentation. Me and my co-worker. So yeah, we're going to show some stuff.
Very awesome.
Tell you about all right.
Are there other conferences that you participate in?
I mean, not so I don't have time, but I'm trying. I'm really trying, but like this year I want to go to RSA or Black Hat. It's a huge one. Black Hat is actually like some things. There's a lot of hackers there, right?
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I went for the first time this year, and I'm like, I don't need to do this again. Like, and I'm the dude in the trenches, right? I was like, this wasn't me. Like,
Yeah. But I was what I was trying to say that. So I have a story that a friend of mine, he went there a couple of years ago. I don't remember, but yeah. And he went there and he got hacked in the airport, Las Vegas airport. It was like 10 or 20 minutes, something like that.
Jeez. That seems ballsy. That
was a DEF CON attendee. We all know that. That wasn't a Black Hat attendee.
I was thinking I've had conversations with people who like someone walked up to them and basically told them they were doing something illegal. And they're like, I'm going to go shut that down right now. Right?
Yeah. The other conference pretty good for Mac. It's called, there's a foundation called Objective-C. It's nonprofit foundation. So they're pretty good with Macs and stuff. The only Macs. So next time they're going to have something, I really want to go. Maybe and participate. We'll see. I mean, I'm pretty packed here.
I get that. If you do come out to Hacker Summer Camp, when I have some stuff planned with B-Sides and Dan Initiative and DEF CON, so yeah. Happy to show you around if you haven't been to any of those.
Yeah. I will.
It's a fun, hot time.
Stay inside. Stay cool.
Yeah.
Well, Slava, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. No.
I forgot our last big question that we always ask. Wait, I'll let you do it.
I don't even have my notes up. Okay. So our last big question is usually like more of a general question for defenders, right? So as someone who's constantly defending, what is like one piece of advice that you would give to everybody?
Oh,
very open.
It's hard.
Question, right?
Okay.
You can go any way you want with it.
Yeah. First of all, be careful.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. You think it's like, oh, I'm protected. I've never been hacked. First of all, you don't know that. Sometimes you've been hacked, some of your data got stolen, and they just disappeared. I had a couple of things like that. Like, so I had a couple of computers. I was like, I know they've been hacked, but I was trying to find something, and there's nothing. Like, there was a couple of files, so I saw some like small compromises, something I saw it shouldn't be here or something like that, but it was there. I was like, oh, but it was completely disappeared. Like, they disappeared. I was like, wow, that was a good one. I'm sorry. Yeah. So first of all, I mean, working in Zero Trust now for enterprise, I think this is the best approach because like you can't trust anyone. Social engineering is so big right now and it's growing and growing. And like AI, deepfakes and all other stuff, like, so it's easy sometimes. Like, I'm sorry that I'm not answering your question. Like,
no, you can keep going. You're fine. Go for it. This is their time to rant and go crazy. So go for it.
I'm loving this.
So
there's a couple of things that basically there's some recruiters reach out to you, and then even if you're a developer, it's not mean like cybersecurity or stuff, like just regular developer, and they ask you, okay, we have like interview, and you go to interview, and then they ask you to run some kind of code. Just compile the code, and like we need you to update it, do some things with it, like to show your skills. But when you compile it, it runs the scripts on the background, and it steals your data because sometimes it require like root privileges, so it can have access to everything you have. So, my piece of advice: don't trust anyone.
All right,
and be careful.
I love it. Like one of my life mottos is you trust none of what you hear and half of what you see. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like barely anything,
especially now. Yeah. And if we're talking about Mac, just enable all of the protections that you can have. So because a lot of people, they just disable protections. I've seen it and I was like, why are you doing this? Because like, I don't need it. I think it makes my Mac slower. Like I'm sorry, but it makes it more secure. Obviously it may be slower, but it makes it more secure. So that's my
Nice.
advice.
That's valuable.
No,
That's
that's good.
huge.
I like it. It was good advice. No one has said that yet, so that's perfect. No one has said trust no one, so I love it.
Excellent. Again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
For those who are tuning in, if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, share with your friends, all those things I'm supposed to say. And I'd like to thank ThreatLocker for setting up this call. Thank you so much, Slava.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.